Osio. Everybody, please do me a favor and don't let the zit cream distract you. Okay? We're handling something. Okay. Osio. Hello, everybody. That's hello in Cherokee. Tutslagi. I am Cherokee. Okay. And here we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to my office. So today we're going to begin with a little update. So just so you guys know, there is a date night with Dill raffle going on right now, and tomorrow at 3 p.m. I'm going to be doing the live drawing. It could be your blessed and lucky day. You might just get your name drawn. And if that's the case, then felicidades and congratulations to you, because you are going to get a one-on-one exclusive date night with me behind the scenes at my event on the water this time, but in the date night with Dill raffles, it's always in any of my events around the world. You get one-on-one access with me to them. So yeah, like I said, tomorrow's the live raffle drawing. If you guys are interested in participating, you can pretty much put your ticket and your raffle up in there until the final minute, until the final hour. So get on it. Okay. So kind of moving on from that, I wanted to just set a tone really quickly here. I know y'all are like, Dill, it's the end of the day and you're trying to set a tone. Yes. We're setting the tone so that you can go into your next day with a great tone. You feel me? You have a great day by setting the tone the night before. So again, we are here in the office and I want to prepare you all for what I'm going to start doing coming up here, which is Mental Health Mondays. Ooh. And y'all don't be so rigid, okay? Because I know you guys are over here like, oh my gosh, how boring and like taboo. And okay, maybe taboo is not the word you're thinking. Maybe you're thinking more like how like obnoxious and bandwagony of you. But I'm gonna need you guys to just take a deep breath in, breathe in the light, let out the judgment. Okay? Yeah. And now that we've done that, I hope that your vibration can be in more alignment with what I'm trying to do here and opening up a space to have these conversations that I feel like are so important to have. And you guys know that I'm generally a pretty outspoken person, although I'm a Sagittarius. And if you don't know what that means, we're going to have to get into it another day. But if you do know what that means, then you might be able to understand like some of my personality traits and characteristics a little bit. So Mental Health Monday is something that I just want to start, again, opening up a space for conversation around, for us to experience essentially a new kind of dynamic together, but just slightly. Because I think those of y'all who have been around in my, I guess, community for some time now, you guys know that, Dr. Dill been around for a minute. Okay? We just have not been open to the general public. Boom. So, with that being said, to kind of kickstart today's Mental Health Monday, I really want to bring one of my sisters, my tribe sisters, on here, especially in honor of Indigenous Peoples Day. And I just wanted to kind of give her the stage today, really, to come up in here and to talk about her experience out here as a Native American woman. And yeah, what it's been like essentially upkeeping her. All right, please forgive my chair creaking. Your girl's been gaining weight. Tuesday. Wait, no, it ain't. It ain't Tuesday yet. It's only Tuesday in certain places. Okay, on the West Coast, it's still Monday, and it's still Indigenous Peoples Day. Almost had me slipping. All right, so let me find my girl in here. But look. Just consider this a time capsule. Okay, so welcome back again. Consider this a time capsule if you are in Tuesday. You're in a time capsule and it's Monday. Welcome. Now, girl, where are you? Where's my girl? I'm gonna find you. Yes. Now look, we'll probably get to some questions at the end of this, y'all. But in the meantime, welcome.
Hello.
Oh, see you.
Hi.
What up,
Hello.
It's
Hold on. Oh,
amazing. Honolulu is
not
building.
Indigenous People Day with the mustache. Or cute. How do you turn this freaking filter? There we go. No filter. Okay, perfect. I was trying to flip my screen and I was like, I have a mustache. That's cute.
Girl, I'm over here.
Oh my god. Okay, we're no filter again. Hey!
Oh my gosh. Okay, you know
Living.
what? Thank you for that entertainment right there. That
You're
filter
welcome.
entertainment. That was great.
It's y'all's world. I'm just living in it with my
Hey,
mustache and big
you know,
lips.
hey, you know what they say
Hey.
though. You know what they say, laughter is food for the soul, everybody. So
That's right. It's Mental
we
Health
appreciate that.
Monday, so we all needed a
That's
little bit of
right.
a laugh, you know.
And for everybody who
God
thinks
knows
that in
best.
Tuesday, you're in a time capsule, it's really Monday.
Yeah, it's definitely still Monday where I'm at. It is 10:37 on a Monday night. So, hello. But yeah, thanks so much for having me, Miss Dill. I'm glad to be in the office,
In the
participate.
office with it today. Now I know like all these beautiful, incredible, amazing things about the fabric that makes up the beautiful, incredible, amazing Honolulu. But the people here, they do not have the pleasure of getting to know more about you. And especially because today is Indigenous Peoples Day. And I know you really try with the show.
Yes.
So I just wanted to talk about your really upbringing and who you are as a Native American woman out here. What's up?
Absolutely. Yeah, so obviously you know a little bit about my background. I grew up on the Spokane Reservation, so that's over in Washington area, and I'm Cherokee Creek. And then that was also the same reservation as my father. My mom grew up over on the Kalispel Reservation or Kalispel Reservation. And uh, so growing up on the reservation obviously is a completely different experience than a lot of people experience throughout the world. And I remember, growing up and stuff, and even to this day, sometimes I'll get questions and be like, "Oh, so did you guys live in a teepee, or did you wear moccasins?" And I was like, "No, we still had regular houses, and we had shoes and Nikes and Jordans and all that." Um, and I say that specifically because res ball was everything, and I don't think I really wore girls' clothes until I was about 10 or 11, unless my mom made me for church. But otherwise, it was basketball shorts, hair tied up in a bun or braids, and my my little Jordan T-shirt, and that was it. Um, but yeah, I mean, it really was an experience, though. In essence, it's obviously wherever you grow up, it creates who you are and the framework of the way that you think, the way that you move throughout life. And it absolutely gave me a perspective that I wouldn't have been able to gather or get anywhere else. I would have to say specifically for me, growing up, because so my two sisters, my younger sister is much darker than me, my older sister is darker than me, and then I popped out and I was white and blonde hair growing up, and I even had blue eyes when I was like a baby. And so it took a little bit, it took some time for my hair to get darker and things, but I've always been a lighter complexion. So in that essence, it was like I was able to experience being on the outskirts of kind of the minority inside of a space, and I was able to experience what that felt like for other people. So like when I left the reservation and I kind of moved to bigger spaces, I was able to have such a more empathy and understanding for minority people as well, kind of being on like both sides of the coin. um there was times I was like told like who I couldn't date and who I could date and stuff based off my skin color and like all these things. And so it was really interesting. But then there was so many beautiful aspects about it as far as the culture, the community, and being one with the lands. It really it created something, an energy source, I think, within me that I've just taken with me throughout my entire life. And I can pick that up wherever I go. But I still have to have my moments where I just go. I grew up on 20 acres. So I still have to have my moments where I just go and I just have like my me time, and, like go build a fort
Mother
or
Nature
something.
time.
Yes.
No,
But I did
that's
a lot of
real.
talking.
That's
So
hey, that's real.
yeah,
That's real.
it's
That's part
so
of that mental health part
important.
again. But it's also like so interesting because like wow, I feel um like you said, I can relate to certain things like just being from Idaho
Mm-hmm.
and being multicultural, um, and people just kind of making these different assumptions
Right.
about whatever my living conditions were or my familial dynamic or
Right.
whatever. Always being like ridiculously surprised most of the time to find
Yeah.
a pretty modern family at the end of the day. But as I was listening to you kind of talk about everything, that was one of the things that really stood out as a highlight to me, where it was like, one, you are in these spaces where you ultimately are experiencing your tribe vibes still in a
Mm-hmm.
very,
Non-tribal space.
Eurocentric way,
Yeah.
a very Eurocentric way.
Yeah.
And then you kind of were on that other end of the spectrum of uh, being a minority, being the black sheep,
Mm-hmm.
but you were
The
really
white
more
sheep.
like the white sheep
Literally, yeah. Mm-hmm.
with all the brown sheep and the black sheep, and had to really grow into probably your skin, like had to really actually literally grow into your skin.
Yes, I
And
did.
I feel like one of the things that I find just again so fascinating. It's like, and yet it's really so obvious because we talk about it all the time, that disconnect from the identity. Because even though, again, sure, it can be a beautiful thing, and we don't have to sit here and like dog one side of the experience. That's not what this day is about,
Right.
or what we're trying to set the tone here with. But more so, it's like when I'm thinking about the disconnect of the other side of that identity, and also because of the history of ultimately why I would call this a generational curse, because there was a severance, a violent one, a violent severance from the identity, and then essentially a complete eradication of a nation and of people. So how do you feel like that has impacted your mental health, and what kind of steps are you taking to move in the right direction with all of it?
Yeah, no, that, I mean, that's definitely, you always have the two sides to every coin of, on one hand, you ask yourself this question, and then you also get asked by other people too, like, oh, well, it happened so long ago. Like, how are you still, like, you can't still blame people or say that you are at a deficit because of it when it happened such a long time ago. But in the reality of it is there are, when something happens to a people group or to a person and then they produce offspring, we know within science that within DNA, trauma passes from one DNA structure to the next. But then also the mentality passes down and passes down and passes down. So what I see a lot within the reservation and people closest to me and what I've experienced has been the traumas have been generationally passed down to where, yes, this happened that long ago, but it's very rare to see individuals go and actually seek proper help in the way that'll be beneficial for them outside of drugs and alcohol. And that's the same for any of us. We are always looking for a quick fix. When we don't feel right, something's bothering us, our first thing is to go do a quick fix, and that falls in drug, sex, and alcohol. So there's a huge level of drug abuse, alcoholism, and teen pregnancies. And the amount of individuals and friends that I've had that I've lost, family members that I've lost to drunk driving or drug overdoses, things like that, is astronomical. It's the thing that honestly takes out the majority of the community. And also suicide rates because of that. So, there needs to be, it's a beautiful thing to have a small community, but it's also detrimental because you only know what you know. And so you're not really seeking outside help. And honestly, a lot of outside help isn't really welcomed either. So again, you're just getting this close-knit
It's
space.
hard to trust, I
It's
can kind of
hard to
get that
trust.
at the same
It's
time. It's
hard to
hard to
trust.
trust.
Yeah.
And man, it's just so heavy, it's so deep. So do you feel like that has been, um, do you feel like where it has impacted you and your mental health has been the grief of loss based on essentially historical impact and effects that has led to repeated traumas into each next generation?
Yeah.
Because ultimately the tools that are being handed to everybody is the things
Defaulted. Yes.
listed. We need to find
Yeah.
these fixes to ultimately try to numb the pain at the very least for whatever it is that whatever crises that people are going through.
Right.
And so there's that one, and then also, oh, man, and like
It's deep.
you said, there's so
It's
many
deep.
wonderful. I know it's just so deep because it's like I asked this question, but now I can feel myself, my brain hitting that Sagittarius like energy mode, like where I'm like about to
Mhm.
shift gears because you just triggered this other train of thought that I'm trying to like hold back right now and look at it
Yeah.
as here we go,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it. Okay. So basically like what thought stimulated for me when you were just saying all that was just like, yo, if you said this, girl, is crazy. You really said this without saying it. It was like I picked it up, like just your spirit just was like whoosh, just like put it on me.
Mhm.
And it was almost like you're a part of the identity crisis. It also stems heavily from the lack of representation because ultimately there was a complete eradication of a peoples who were never fully understood but only completely stolen from, had everything completely stolen from, did not have any space left for them whatsoever, zero space, had to literally even be under all of the people that were shipped here to become slaves. They didn't even get the privilege of being slaves. They were
Yeah.
even shit to the slaves. And if they, again, just so happen to survive, they ultimately were slaves still,
Yeah. It was not a good
in
life.
some kind of capacity. So, and they were like
Yeah.
such a powerful, like our community, our tribe is such a powerful people. You really have to wonder, why do we never see any kind of representation out here like that in the media, for real? I mean, in certain
Mhm.
sports spaces and stuff like that a little bit, but even anybody who does represent tribe is usually, or the nation is usually completely like persecuted or again like dogged or
Mhm.
blackballed or whatever. Like this, there's so many different attacks come to
Yeah.
them. And again, I feel like that lack of representation because of the internal suffering, because of has been a very real experience, because of that internal suffering, and then again that mental, ultimately poisoning, the
Mhm.
disease of all of, like, again, these mental illnesses like depression or anxiety or PTSD or whatever the case is that people are dealing with. They don't
Yeah.
know, they don't have spaces that are developed or even welcome like enough for them. It's almost like being in front of like some extraterrestrial force or something, and people are just so scared and so shook by like the powerful energy, especially here in America, or really it
Mhm.
could be any place, because there are so many indigenous tribes across the globe. It's not even just here in America that there are indigenous nations, but specifically since this is where we are at, and we're speaking on our nation and our tribe here in America. It gets so deep because again, the people are part of this land. It's different. It's a
Right.
different situation when you are one with land. It's like being a part of your again, like your mother or something. It's just so powerful to
Right. One
know it,
goes
to
with the
speak a
other.
different language, right? And to have all that stuff cut off from you, to not be able to learn your languages anymore, to not be able to look and to see ideologies of beauty. And really, every culture in a way suffers with this. When you are not
Right.
the image or the standard of beauty or of success or whatever it is, that's why I say representation is so important to identity. And even within our own communities, sometimes we haven't always had the best representation, but those spaces that did have solid representation at
Right.
least continue to build and survive as a nation. And even again, if powerful enough, we're able to grow and collectively be on that same vibe and energy. But that's so difficult when you are mentally unwell, because when you are
Right.
mentally unwell, it just changes the game. And sometimes you don't even realize that you're mentally unwell or disconnected from your spirit or disconnected from your culture until you have what they call people the midlife crisis.
Yeah.
So they say you
We
got a
just
midlife
have
crisis,
enough.
you just snap, and you just snap. And you're
Yeah.
like, what is it? Why? And it's because you're not connected to your roots.
Right.
You don't really know who you are. You've spent most your life trying to be the image of something that was presented to you that you thought, would make you feel good too if you also conformed and assimilated to fitting that image and being,
Yeah.
this ideal uh, person that you see in your head to the world as well.
Absolutely.
And I feel like, I can just relate to that so deeply in so many different ways. I feel like that's probably why that's what translated to me from what you were saying, because I have felt that way in so many different capacities that I was disconnected. And, honestly, sometimes you feel like just I don't even know how to say it. It's just dumb. You feel stupid. Like you feel
You
like
do.
ridiculous. Like I can't
Yes.
believe I don't know these things. How do I not even
Because
know how
you've
to
been
speak in my
set in
own
your own
language and
mind.
do these
Yeah.
different things that like how am I supposed to know myself? And that's why I asked the question like what are some of the things that you are ultimately doing or maybe you want to do to
Yeah.
continue to again build in your identity of knowing who you are, because there has been this separation. We know that's what the devil wants, division. There
Mm-hmm.
has been this separation from your one of your core identities, right? One of these core
Yeah.
identities. Now how do we bring a relationship back? How do we get back to those roots? How do we, what are those steps for you personally in your life that you want to take? Because I feel like, what they say, knowledge is power. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously, then the more you know about yourself, the more self-empowered you can be. And again, the more we can strengthen that mind.
Absolutely. No, you hit it like on the head for, you know, what what has kind of been going on, and you encapsulated a lot of what I said perfectly. So thank you. I think to answer your question in regarding what I've personally done to just make sure that because I've gone through um the crisis point and the different, and really when you hit a crisis point is when you're lacking purpose. You lose sight or never fully realize that you never fully understood what your purpose was, or your purpose was tied to something that could blow away with the wind, but it wasn't actually rooted in any core values. And so for me, that'll be another conversation for another day to go into like the in-depth details, but on a high level overview, it meant going to I had to leave the reservation, which doesn't happen often. A lot of people, if they leave, they usually go right back because it's a bit of a culture shock in a lot of ways, and just various different reasons, right? Then also your family and everything, and I had to leave to be able to be like, okay, what is it that I am missing? What is it that I can gather? Because I realized I was like, as much as I love my people and my family and all these things, and where I'm at, this also isn't what I want. I know as a human being, I'm destined for more than what the people that I've seen closest to me fall and succumb into with these historical generational curses and chains that they've, been bound by. And I think when we all have our own purpose, and it's all our own responsibilities to break the chains of our ancestors and the things that they've experienced for our future um, families and generations to come. It's our responsibility. So if we can't find that where we're at, then just like hunting and gathering, you go out, you hunt it, you find it first, you hunt it, and you gather it, and you bring it back. So that's really what I've kind of set my mindset to as an adult, and as I've wandered through different spaces. So now I'm like, all right, the first core thing that I 100% know for a fact I would not have been able to be where I am today, and I probably wouldn't even be alive, um, is the Creator Jesus Christ. Boom, plain simple, hands down. I owe it all to Him, 100%. My mental health, there would be no health if it wasn't for Him.
Thank you,
AKA, there would be no mental
Jesus.
anything. Thank you, Jesus. 100%. He's the only one that has been able to. I tried so many different ways of, within like the native medicine and other religions, all of this stuff, and he's the only thing that has been real. And I felt a change. And I feel him speaking to me on a daily basis, calming me, giving me peace beyond understanding, etc., etc. Boom. So that's number one. The second thing is now I'm like, okay, well, what is my passions? Because whatever your passion is, God, He specifically instilled that in you. So we have to really like push away all of these things of, oh, well, our passion is just a pipe dream of like, only the lucky people get to do it, or we need to just be realistic. It's not that. Your passion of what's instilled inside of you is exactly what the world needs. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been a seed that's placed inside of you. So therefore, for your own health and for the health of the world and humanity around you, you have to feed that, because it's literally the medicine that the world needs and what you need to be like fulfilled. So I really started diving into, instead of trying to push away things and just be like, oh, well, I need to, you know, go get a 9 to 5, which I'm not dogging that, because trust me, I've had plenty of 9 to 5s in my life and everything like that. But how can I feed what sparks a light inside of me? How can I feed that? So I started looking for those aspects. And then last but not least, now I'm at that phase where I'm so excited, because now I feel like I've gathered, and I'm getting enough in my net now that I can now bring back to my people and back to the reservation. And so now, a lot of that is between speaking, but then like with my music, as we've talked about, and as I start releasing these different projects and things like that, I plan on bringing this back to my people and back to my reservations, and then touring throughout other different reservations, and then expanding from there. But that's been kind of my very, very messy, I make it sound clean, but it's been a messy process. And a lot of times I didn't know what the heck I was doing. But again, thanks to God, He was the only thing that kept me on track. And but that's been kind of my three-step process that's kept me in getting back aligned with my mental health, and then being able to come back and, ideally be able to help others within my community and then beyond.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yes, to Jesus' passions
Girl.
and giving back to the community. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds like a combination for some things that will definitely feed the mind and the ultimately soul.
Right.
And then I feel like they're for the body as well. Because, you just
Yeah.
all that good energy, all those good chemicals, all those good vibrations. I think that, I guess, kind of reversing the question, well, well. I think some of the things for me that I'm really looking forward to in my growing in my relationship with my identity is just continuing to educate myself, continuing to go and visit these places and study and do my diligence and meet the people. Even if I stand out like a sore thumb, yeah, that's something that I kind of am used to for the most part. So I guess I got to
As
get
you
over that
should.
shit eventually.
You should stand out like a sore
Please
thumb,
know
because
how to
you
get
know
over
you're not
that
doing it
shit.
right.
But I would say, regardless of whatever kind of response that I get from the communities, and I pray that at the very, very least they're peaceful, and nonviolent, please. Thank you.
Yes.
Because ultimately I'm coming to learn and hopefully, just like you said, to teach as well, to
Right.
teach, to contribute to some enlightenment, which I am one of the people who believes that enlightenment is one of those things that is ultimately the secret to
It
healing,
is.
because it ultimately, I believe, just means operating at a higher level of consciousness and awareness and understanding of all of the levels and the versions of self. And again, that's why
Mm-hmm.
they say like knowledge is power, and Jesus is the unlimited source of power that ultimately my tribe sister here and I have ultimately been called to serve the kingdom of. And
Amen.
I feel like yeah, I'm definitely interested in being able to teach the things that I know about the Jesus who has shown up in my life and who ultimately came through for me. And, just hopefully to break some different stigmas and things like that around perhaps some of the triggers and traumas from what has been cast down out here from, again, such as some of those Eurocentric practices.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So it's like, I feel like for me, really just doing that and getting to know myself in that way is going to be super important to continuing to empower myself and again, connect with those communities, connect with that purpose. Like, I feel like in order to understand what God wants me to do in the world, I have to understand who I am in the world. And I believe that life is kind of this endless discovery of self. And should you become passionate about it enough to pursue it, then it will be one of those things that you start putting in the forefront of your priorities because you realize it is detrimental to your health. And I believe that, again, when I can know myself more, then ultimately my mental health, I can be strengthened in. I would say also continuing to do actual, like, um, physical labor type of exercises and different
Oh yeah.
practices in that way for the brain itself is also incredibly beneficial. And just lifestyle practices. That's also a part of what I do here as Dr. Dill. Okay, you want to transform your life? Come talk to me. Um, so yeah, like I feel like that's an important thing as well. Sleeping right, eating right. Again, just treating
Yes.
yourself right. Those things contribute heavily. Exercise contribute heavily to the mental health sector,
Mm-hmm.
and then being able to navigate my emotional intelligence. That's another thing because as humans, that's our brain is ultimately our control panel, and when it comes to our emotions and our emotional bodies, those are the things that ultimately, like, people can't see when you really think about that.
Right.
It's very similar to, like, really our nervous system, right? We've got all these nerves and all these different chemical, well, really electricity that's being shot through our body, but people can't actually see that. They can't see
Mm-hmm.
when there are these different types of ailments within the emotional body or perhaps like really deep levels of the physical body. We can't see these things, so therefore we just assume people are not sick or, it's just whatever. And again, navigating the emotional bodies is another part of our mental health. So I feel like for me, continuing to come into that just self awareness, I think that knowing things that trigger me, knowing how I'm gonna, navigate these different spaces, knowing the things that I personally deal with so that I can
Yeah.
continue to support myself in the right ways that are constructive and productive. I'm not somebody who's personally like, I don't want to say I'm not a believer in therapy, and I don't want to say I'm not a believer in like certain pharmaceuticals and things like that, because I believe that everything exists because there's something for everyone. And I don't believe that anything under God could be wrong. That would be contradictory to my beliefs. So I don't believe that, but I do believe that certain vessels can use certain things or certain tools in ways that are destructive as opposed to constructive. And so for me, I those weren't necessarily avenues that were constructive for me personally when it came to getting on track, at least at this up to this point in my life anyway. Getting on track and again feeling good with my mental health. Although I would say that just being the type of person I am, I'm incredibly open minded to those spaces because you just again everybody's unique. Their needs are different. Where they're at in their journey is different. And where I'm at in my journey, I just want to be able to talk to God more.
Mm-hmm.
Talking to God more is another one of those things that's really like my therapy. That is my counsel. And journaling, I feel like that's another one of those practices and methods that's really good for the brain. Journaling, reading, good for the memory, and just good for educating yourself because ultimately, as you read, you get to acquire different vocabulary and you get to stimulate different parts of the mind and the brain. So just doing different things like that are the kind of things that I want to either continue to do or do more of. so that I can continue to, yeah, just be self-empowered and then be that vessel that God needs me to be out here in the world to empower those around me and connected to me.
Amen to that. I
Mm-hmm.
love this. You hit on some really important parts of um it's so important to maintain, you can't drive a car every single day when you're not making sure the oil's changed and proper gas and all of these different things. And it's the same thing with our bodies, is like making sure we maintain our bodies and our vessels and our temples, and we're treating them, with the proper tender love and care that we need to, so we can go and do all of these other things. It's essential. It's just the foundation of being successful. It's the foundation of being happy. I don't think you really can have a healthy mentality without taking also physically, um making sure that your physical health is taken care of too. They just, hey. We're gonna have a
Like,
guest
we just have
talk
to flex
talk
for them real
pretty soon.
quick.
I know.
So they know
Just
we ain't just
wait
talking
till I come
about
up.
it.
Hey,
Okay, we can be about it. It's
we
a
really
flex
we really do
therapist.
this. We do this. Yeah, no, we'll do the
No, facts,
abstract when I
girl,
come and see
facts.
you in Miami.
Oh, yes, girl.
Yes,
Okay, Miami, wherever we hit, we stepping.
wherever.
Whatever we hit, New York,
True.
shit,
Maybe we should
California,
make a poll
shit,
for it.
Africa,
Let's go.
Puerto
We should.
Rico.
Puerto Rico, okay. Yeah, honestly, let's make a poll. We'll make a poll and we'll see where the next place we should go, where
I
we get the
know,
most
right? Like,
votes for.
where
Yeah,
should we head? Definitely the South.
I'm down for the South. Yeah, it's been a minute since I've been to the South.
Definitely the
Needs to
South. The
happen.
South just got this essence and energy. See, that's
Mm,
also where we go connect because my tribe's over there.
yes,
My
let's
tribe from
go.
the South,
Let's
Midwest baby,
go.
and
Yep.
Mountain West and Midwest. You know, it's so funny because
Make it
everybody
over there.
always thinks that I'm from Cali, like one of the coasts, like
Uh-huh.
either Cali. I definitely don't get New York like that. Usually, when people hear me
Yeah, you don't have that New York
speak, I don't really
foundation.
got that vibe, that demeanor.
Right.
Um,
No, you're too laid
like
back.
I could put it on, right, but not. It's not really. That's not me.
Yeah.
So Cali's usually where people think I'm from, which I just always think is so funny because it's like people be thinking I'm from the coast, but I'm actually just like flop, like just right in the middle.
Same. I always would get yeah, I always got like LA and Cali was the vibes and stuff people would throw at me. And I was like, oh, interesting. I'll take it.
Got West
Sunshine
Coast
City.
influence and
Ooh,
shit, but the
yeah.
South, no.
Yeah, we need to make that
I need to get
happen.
back over there. It's been a minute. It's like, when you gotta
Yes.
go, like, pay your dues, pay your respects, check in, you
Yeah.
know, go
I'm not,
get
all I
that.
can think about, I'm not even gonna lie, the whole time you said South, all I'm thinking is food. Like
But
when
we
you say
always, we
pay respect, I'm
foodies.
like food. And then you're like tribe, food. You're
Food?
getting food.
Girl, that's because everywhere we go, he's always trying to get the damn food.
I'm like, what's the food?
Gee. We
Yeah.
always gotta
No.
check the food spots, slots,
Mm,
and drops. We need to know what's up with it.
yes.
And then
Yes.
let us
So
know.
if there's some
Okay?
good southern spots, if we end up making it out to the south here, which well we will,
We
but it's
will.
just the
Hit us with
wind.
it.
Hit us
Hit us
with
with
it.
that information.
Mm-hmm.
Just let us know. Cause yeah,
Put your
that's like just
submit.
on my heart. That's just on
Yeah.
my brain. So that's definitely gotta be a thing. But yes, don't worry,
Let's make it
everybody.
happen.
We will come see all of y'all eventually because obviously we have to come tour and do what we gotta do. We gotta hit
Yes.
our next fashion jam experience. So
Oh yes. We are just getting started with
mm-hmm.
that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
I
do
know
a
you
little
already know.
Asian
That's the other thing,
Sunday.
girl. That
What?
music though. That music though. That music though. That's another part of that mental, girl. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's huge. I honestly, if and I know you can relate to this as also hugely into music, such a beautiful creative yourself. If it wasn't for music, mm, I don't know. Because no
Mm-hmm.
matter what, no matter whether this is a key thing for anybody out there listening is it doesn't matter if you're good at it or not. First of all, let's just say that. Pick something that you can express yourself in. You have to have a creative outlet. And get that ish out. Get it out. Because it'll just fester. And something, just like anything, a beautiful rose that looks beautiful in a vase, and it just sits there, pretty soon it starts to wilt, and then it starts to rot, whatever. It could be beautiful to begin with. A feeling, an emotion, whatever it is, can be beautiful to begin with. But if you keep that stuff bundled up for too long and you don't refresh it and get it out and make room for something else, it starts to rot, good or bad. So make room, find a creative outlet, music, drawing, reading, writing, whatever it is, piano, music, building something, could be architecture, whatever it is, and do it. You got to start somewhere. Yeah.
Get creative, people.
Yeah. Sometimes I turn into an abstract artist. My art don't look good all the time.
Girl, of course it does. What? Beauty's in the eye of that beholder. Of course everything looks great.
Okay,
Of course it is. Unless we don't want it to.
Yeah, unless you don't want it to. Yeah. And again, it's all about what you're trying to express.
What are you trying to do here?
So
Trying to do here.
Yeah.
Look, all I know is that I feel like yeah, that's great. That's great advice. I feel like this has been an amazing Mental Health Monday. Remember, people, time capsule. If you think you win Tuesday, not yet. Not yet. Not until the close of this, okay? It is Mental Health Monday. And yeah, we're definitely gonna do stuff like this more often, guys, so you guys can look forward to different little variations of what it is that we gonna be trying to set the tone here with these Mental Health Mondays.
Mental Health Monday.
You know, it might become.
Sorry, I'm just gonna stop.
Okay, look, yes, because we're gonna be doing some music for the Mental Health Mondays, because obviously this is going hand in hand. So we're just gonna be up here. We just gonna start singing and shit, because again, this is for the soul, people.
That's right.
This is for the soul. It's more than just about, oh, I'm trying to do this so that I can go be somebody. No. I am somebody. I don't gotta go try to be nobody. I don't gotta prove nothing. I need this for my soul. I need God to speak to me in ways that ain't nobody out here can speak to me. That's what they be saying. Only God knows.
Yes, ma'am. Everything is purpose driven. Purpose driven.
We're gonna serenade to y'all for Music Mondays, because y'all just need some food for your soul.
Amen. If we need it, you need it.
I was gonna say, and you know, like shit, we need it too. So that's how this tango gonna go.
Be there. No, this has been so good, Dill. Thanks so much for having me and chatting and sharing this Mental Health Monday with me, and for everybody who's tuned in and listened. Yes, love it. And happy Indigenous Peoples Day. It's amazing to be able to say that. So to all Indigenous people out there, hello. We have our own day. Bam, bam, bam. So, mwah.
Yes, we can't wait to power out with y'all.
That's right.
All right, y'all. Have a great one. Till next time. Don't forget, Date Night with Dill drawing tomorrow. So make sure y'all go click that link in my bio. Or if you want it to be sent to you, go comment on my picture. And we're going to do what it do. Okay?
Yeah.
We're going to see who win. All right, y'all. Peace, love, happiness. Till next time.